leather handbag by Purses by Holly. This is in vinyl, so I did my first one in vinyl, and you can definitely do it in vinyl. Just make sure your vinyl is pretty heavy. This is not heavy enough unless you don't mind a slouchy bag. But you open it up and it's raw edge on the inside, and then you've got a raw edge pocket on the back. It is so cute. And then I used 3/4 inch. I didn't have any corset rings, so I used 3/4 inch D-ring snaps. That works fine, but I would definitely just do a 3/4 or 1/2 inch shoulder strap. This is a crossbody 1-inch shoulder strap. It's way too big for this purse. Very cute. So my next one I'm going to do in some nice, fairly decent leather. You do need, if you're going to do the leather, you do need an industrial machine or a leather machine, I guess. It's cute. It actually holds a lot. Look at the bottom gusset. It's very cute. All right. Thanks for watching. So if you want to do vinyl for this pattern that is newly released, then you certainly could. Just choose some heavyweight vinyl, and choose a vinyl that you don't mind seeing the raw edge on the inside. Be perfect. But I'm going to do one in leather. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hi everyone, this is Barbie with Jeannie's Designs, and I am honored to do a release video for Holly at Purses by Holly. She is launching some videos that are for leather. And so this is, I think, her first one. Although many of her patterns can be done in leather, but this is the first one that is specifically for leather. It's the Sunset Leather Handbag. It's a very simple pattern, I believe. I haven't made it. And I am actually going to make it out of vinyl first before I try leather. You know, leather is not cheap, and neither is vinyl. But until you have tried a pattern, I would definitely not do it in leather until you try it. Now, this is this material that I'm using. Let me see. It feels like leather, actually, and it's got you know, a black background on the wrong side. So this is a very nice floral, embossed floral from Sam Fabric Creation. But it does have the feel of leather, so we're going to see how it goes. She actually suggests that you do leather at either let me see what she said. 1.12 leather to, where is that? Sorry. 1.2 millimeter to 1.8 millimeter thickness. This is not, it's raw edge on the inside. So it needs to be something that's stout. Now this is not going to be very stout, and that's okay, since this is really just a sample. So I do have some black leather that I'm going to use to make it once I get through this example. But I thought I would try, for those of you that don't have leather, that really don't want to use leather, and it's kind of out of your price range, which is for a lot of people, really. You can do it in vinyl. If you're okay with the background being something like this, the wrong side of the vinyl. So we're going to try it, and I will do a launch video also in leather. All right, let's get started. All right, so the first couple things I'm going to do are the D-rings. She has you use some anchors. I don't really have anything. I have some, but they're not, I don't believe I have any antique gold. So I'm going to use 3/4 inch D-rings, and we'll see how that goes. I am using some brown thread, some very nice chocolate brown thread. The one thing to keep in mind when you're doing leather is you don't want to over puncture your leather with stitching. So typically the stitch length is at least a 5 when doing leather. I wouldn't go anything less than a 5 for leather. And I'm not an expert on leather. Holly is much better at it than I. All right, so these are my D-rings. I'm kind of short on D-rings right now for this size. So I've just got these ready, and the next I am going to do is my strap. And I am using 1-inch strap just because that's the hardware I have. She calls for a 1/2 inch or a 3/4 inch strap, which, you know, is perfect for this bag, really. But all I have is the 1-inch hardware, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm doing a full adjustable strap. I think she just calls for a shoulder strap, which, you know, is really a good idea. The last couple bags I've made, I've done just a shoulder strap. And, you know, when you have a small bag and it stays on your shoulder, you don't need a adjustable crossbody, really. That's what I say. If you've watched my videos lately on the modified Aries, that's what I do for those, just a shoulder strap. And it's perfect. I'm carrying one with just a shoulder strap. I like it. Actually, I take that back. I made a jacquard webbing strap. Let me show you. Oh, it's not in here. Never mind. But one of them I just made a shoulder strap, and it's perfect. It's just perfect. So on the leather one, I probably will just do a shoulder strap. I personally have just gotten into leather. I don't have much. I have black and I have a little bit of tan. And I have some white or off-white that I've had for a very long time. But the black is probably the thickness that she's thinking in her pattern. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, let's do our strap. So I'm going to increase my stitch length to a 5. I'm going to pretend it's leather. Feels like it. Now, I am not, if this was leather, I would put strap-ins on here. But since this is a tester bag, I am not going to put strap-ins on. Just cleaning up my ends there. And I'm using one of my wide mouth sliders up and through. Choose the side you like the best. And then I am going to put two rivets in there. These are also available on my website. I love antique brass. So now I have three colors of hardware: matte black, matte rainbow, and antique brass. Love it. And now I'm going to put another one. It's not a big bag, so just doing rivets is absolutely fine for this. It's not a small bag either, but it's going to be fine with rivets instead of sewing it. Okay, let me go press those, and that's what that looks like. All right, I pressed my rivets. It looks so good. Now I'm going to add my 1-inch swivel clasps. Make sure you have it on there correctly, and I do. So up and through, and back down. And when I say you have it on correctly, that this is the top of your slider and that your first swivel is not on their wrong side. Add your other swivel and fold it over, and we are also going to add 2 rivets. And I'm just trying to make sure I'm getting these on here straight is why I'm fiddling with it. So that's why you're seeing me fiddle. Okay, one more. Get that on there nice and even. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you'll be able to see it. So you want it to look as nice as possible. All right, let me go press those. All right, so one thing that you do with leather is you use leather glue or leather cement. I don't have any, but I do have some instant fabric and leather adhesive. I have never used this. I don't even know. Let me see. Let me see if I can even get it open. That's going to be interesting. Let me see if it will come out. Oh, it's completely solidified. Let's see. Yeah. It's solidified. I've had it for years. I've never used it once, I don't believe, so I'll throw that away. But what I'm going to do is just use some of this glue that I have, this 3-in-1 glue right now, since this is vinyl. So on the wrong side of your piece A, mark on where your bottom stabilizer is going to go. I am going to order some cement, so before I do any leather, I'll have that available. And I'm just going to add some glue here on both pieces. And we're going to attach that right between our lines. This will work good for vinyl. Just cleaning up my glue here. There we go. Now I'm going to let that set for a minute. It dries pretty quickly. So I'll be right, because I'm using vinyl, I am going to do a stitch around the outside bottom. And I'll pull that to the inside. So I marked in a 1/4 inch from the long edges and a 1/2 inch from this short edge. You don't need to do this if you're using leather and glue, I don't think. Let me just see if I'm catching that. Yep. I can hardly see my mark. All right, let's pull those to the back and tie those off. Of course, now I can't find which one it is. It's this one. She doesn't have this in the pattern, but if you're using vinyl, it's probably a good idea. If you're using leather, I wouldn't probably do this. You could, honestly, though, if you wanted to. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the outside. Probably can't even hardly see it. Just a little square box. All right, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add this didn't get rounded. There we go. I'm going to add my magnetic snap and my logo. So my logo, let's see. I am going to mark up here where the flap starts to bend. At about 3.75 up. So that's where my logo is going to go. Grab it. What do I do with it? Here it is. Now this back here is going to be covered, so don't worry too much about that. There is a flap cover that's the same material. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, if it's raw edge, you're going to see that. No, you won't. I thought the same thing when I first saw it. Okay, I am going to put a little piece of stabilizer there. Probably doesn't need it, but this is just a piece of Lux Fuse. It's Barb's got interfacing. It's her replacement for Decaville Light. She's also working on a replacement for Decaville Heavy. That'll be interesting. Oh, let me put this away because I'm going to hurt myself. Okay, let's turn that over. And I'm going to put that on. Get it on there nice and straight. And a lot of times these washers, I don't know if you've noticed, one of them has a rough side and the other one does not. I always try and put the rough side down. Okay. And now I'm going to cover that with a little piece of fleece. Fusible fleece. This is now available on my website by the half yard. This Fabric Therapy fusible fleece. It's fantastic. Those are just little remnants. Okay. Perfect. Now, I'm not going to put my snap on until I get the bag done. So we will do that here in a little bit. All right, next step. All right, so take piece C and lay your pattern piece on it. I don't know if you can see it. And mark your flap, the top portion of your flap. And then measure up what she tells you to in the pattern and mark for your snap. Now, I'm doing a magnetic snap that has a rivet. So I needed to mark it on my other flap as well. So it's right there, right above there. So this is gonna go, here's our outside piece and here's piece C. We are gonna lay that right where I marked it from the pattern piece. And that's how I got my placement for my snap, okay? And I am using 2 pieces of Decaville Light. I mean Decaville Heavy, actually, on the inside. I don't want it to be seen, Barbie, goofy girl. So I'll put that there, then I'll put that there, and right there, and then I'll snap it. So that's where my snap goes. Right there. So the other thing she has you do is glue this as well with cement. So I am just gonna take some glue, again, since I'm using vinyl. And I'm going to turn it over and make sure I've got some here. Okay. I hate using, I really don't like glue. I'm a third grader when it comes to using glue. Okay, so that, and now I'm gonna let that dry for just a few minutes and then we'll come back. All right, now we're gonna top stitch around our flap. I have my stitch length at a 5. And I'm gonna do an 1/8 of an inch. I am back stitching here. This will be easier with leather. This is very soft vinyl, so I'm having to go really slow. Around my curves. Okay. Now we will trim off that back piece. And I'm just going to get my really sharp scissors and I'm going to do it by hand. Now you can edge coat, but because I have black on this side, I don't think I'm going to edge coat. And it's a tester. If I was doing leather, I probably would. Okay. Again, I'm just going to go too slow. Have a really sharp pair of scissors. Or you could use your rotary blade and your mat if you feel more comfortable with that. I might actually do both. We'll see. I don't know, this looks pretty good. I'm gonna do a little extra up here with some smaller scissors. Not bad. All right. All right, so that's what you have so far. There's your flap. There's the inside of your flap that's glued on there with your snap. Next step. All right, take your pattern piece D, which is your pocket, and she has you use twill tape or webbing. I'm just going to use a piece of vinyl for this purpose today. And we're laying that along the top on the wrong side. And you should have about an 1/8 or 1/4 inch on each side. Okay. And then we're going to do 2 rows of stitches. along that top edge. It's becoming our pocket. Now, your second row of stitches needs to be about 1/4 of an inch from your first, because we're putting rivets in here. I'll show you. And you don't want to put rivets over any stitching. Okay, so there's my 2 rows of stitching. There's 1/4 of an inch between, and both of those rows of stitching are on that piece. Okay. Next step. All right, so on your piece A, on this bottom edge, we're going to do the same thing that we did on our pockets. This is just a 1/2 inch piece of vinyl for me. And we're going to do 2 rows of stitches across that. Now, I have not put my other part of my magnetic snap on because I'm using a rivet, and I want to give myself a little grace as far as where I'm going to put it. We're doing an 1/8 inch. And then I'll follow up with a 1/4 inch from that first row. This is just reinforcing. These pieces are just reinforcing these portions of the bag. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's all that looks like. And then on the front, it just has the 2 rows of stitches. I love it. All right, so we have our pocket, and the pocket actually goes on the outside. Oh, let me read. All right, so find the center of your bottom of your pocket, and I just put a tiny little leather mark there. And then measure up what she tells you to in the pattern, up from this square here, and find out where that center is. And then I'm using some of these Sew Tight magnets. She says to use some washi tape, which works just as well, but these are fantastic. Keeps your pieces right where you want them. Now we're going to sew around here. Sew around our pocket. Take a minute. Go slow on your curve. Did I run out of bobbin? I did. Hold please. No worries. Alright, I changed my bobbin. No worries about that. Alright. Let me clean that up just a little. These So Tight magnets work really good, honestly. I think. Check your bobbin before you do any top stitching. Just word to the wise. Now, this is going to be seen on the inside here, so you do want to clean it up pretty good. You don't want a bunch of loose threads. Okay. Now we're going to add a couple rivets right there, but then you have a back pocket. I really kind of like it. All right, so I have my rivets on each side of your pocket, which will keep that nice and in place, and you can see those from that side. Now I'm using D-rings for this, and I'm going to place them exactly where she tells you to, but I am just going to use 2 rivets. Instead of a corset ring, I think is what she calls for. I'm going to use my little Japanese hole punch. That comes loose. Let's see. Yeah, that didn't go through, so let me use my hole punch. That Japanese one is good sometimes, but not all the time, I will say. And then I'm just going to put 2 rivets here. A lot of rivets. You know, leather does call for a lot of rivets. I might have to get some corset rings. Corset rings are much smaller than this and would probably look better because they're smaller, but I think these are going to be fine. You have to do with what you have. Okay, and I'm going to place the other one on this side. And I just put a little piece of tape there so it stays where I want it to. While I'm putting all my holes and rivets in. Let's see, guys. This will be so much nicer with leather, really. That Holly, she's a smart girl. All right, let me go press those. All right, so our next step is to put our right sides together on the sides. This is another reason why corset rings would be better, because they're so much smaller. My D-rings I put far enough in so they're not going to get in my seam, but at least that's my hope. Your seam, you don't have big seams here, so we should be good. In fact, the seam allowance is let me look. Yeah, it's a very small seam allowance, which is good. Okay, everything's lining up, and we're gonna just sew that together at the seam allowance. Now I'm going to decrease my stitch length to about 4.5, just on these seams. Probably not necessary, but perfect. Let's do this side. Everything's matching perfectly, I will say. So far. Okay. Now we are going to splay open our side seam there and clip our gussets. I'm going to use different clips here. Just a second. Let me use these. Let me just check my seam out. Okay. We're going to sew that, and we're going to go over this seam twice. Right next to the other seam. Okay, now clean up your tails. And that's what you have. So you have 2 rows of stitches there. Love it. Let's repeat that on this side. with your seam is splayed open. Second row. You know, a lot of leather people do hand stitching, and so does Holly. Holly does a lot of hand stitching, I believe. Now I am going to trim this just so it's even. There's a little bit of uneven there. Okay. Oh my gosh. Turn your bag right side out. Push out your corners. This is so cute. We're done. We're done because we did our strap already. Now, oh, I gotta do my snap. So let me grab my snap. So I gotta find out where I want it. Little thread there and here. I will try and use my punch. Let's see if I can get it to work here. This is just one layer, so it should be fine. Barely. Now, she does have you, and I did it. I don't know where it went. Create a little washer with your, see, I did it right there. That's okay. Let's make another one. A little washer with your fabric, so it's not as visible. So I just made a little round washer, and I'm gonna make a little punch in the center there. Okay. Let's grab our magnetic snap. Oops. I have the wrong part of my snap. That would have been disastrous. Something didn't feel right about that. That's okay. And put your little piece of fabric there. And we'll go press that. Oh my gosh, hold on. There you go. There is the Sunset Leather handbag. Now this is a tester, which I did in vinyl. And it feels like leather. It's just not heavy enough. So you need to use what she suggests, 1.2 millimeter to 1.8 millimeter leather, which I have some. So you got a nice pocket here. And then on the inside, it's all open, but it's pretty good size. I mean, and then I would definitely use a 3/4 inch or a 1/2 inch shoulder strap. This crossbody is way too much. So I'll probably make, for this one, I'll probably just make a little shoulder strap.